So guys, we're going to do another lab. This particular one is lab number second one in Logix that we're actually rebuilding. So if you look at it, it's got a stop, a start, a coil, contact, and both of those contacts are controlled by the coil. So we have two outputs and two inputs. Our switches are our inputs and our coil and lighter are our outputs. So what we're going to do is we're going to build this circuit very similarly to the last one, and we'll show you a couple of cool new features about this. So let's get this thing going. So the first thing I want to do is place my PLC. I'm going to drag this one over, the M221-6R, drop it in place, hit yes. Now that we see our PLC, we're going to go to programming, and we're going to start off with rung 0, and according to the drawing we have two switches in series. We're going to take both open contacts for this. Now why are we using an open contact for the stop? Because in the field the stop is normally closed. So when the cover is on or the stop is wired in place, this contact will actually be green, showing a true state. That's what we want. Typically that's what we do in PLCs, is these stops are programmed as normally open. It's good for troubleshooting too, because if something happened with that button, we would see the green would go away and we'd see a normally open space and we'd know that the button might be malfunctioned. So the next cool feature we're going to go to is branching mode. So I'm in contact mode still, so you can see I'm dragging it around. I'm going to go up to here just to the left of the arrow, and you'll see there's a branching mode. I'm going to click on that. Now that icon became gray. It's going to allow me to drag a symbol, the same one, directly below in parallel. Once I get it to look something like this, I'm going to click it, and there it is. So now that looks like our sealing or holding circuit, just like it would be in motor controls. I'm going to go up, clear this function, so I can come over here to my coil, click on coil, put it right next to there, and it's going to zoom it all the way to the right when I click my mouse. There it goes. First part of the circuit is done. We're going to add a rung. So we'll clear our function again. All the way to the left, you're going to see delete rung, insert new rung, or add a rung. We're going to add a rung. Right now we want to get off rung 0 and go to rung 1. So rung 1 is there. The next picture that you're looking at, and if we go back to the lab so that you can see again, we're trying to create this rung right here. Open contact to another output. In this case our output's going to be a light. So we have that rung. We're going to go back up to contact, which we are. Click on that and drop that contact there. Go over to your coil, drop that coil, and now we have two rungs. Now what's left to do is name them. I'm going to show you another cool feature in this video. We could name them a couple different ways. The first way I'm going to show you is I'm going to obviously do the same thing. I'm going to go to my address, double click, and I know my first input is going to be I0.0. My second input is going to be I0.1. I'm going to use my first output over here as Q0.0. So let's get Q0.0. My other output down here is going to be Q0.1. So we click the Q's again, go to Q0.1. Now we're going to kind of shift gears and we're going to label the contacts that these coils control. Now I know in this program Q0.0 is going to control this contact, so it has to have the same name. So just like motor controls, if it's a CR relay and if it's controlling a contact, it's going to be called CR. So here we got to call this Q0.0. We're going to do the same thing down here. We're going to call this Q0.0 because in our motor logic that's what is happening, and there we have it. So if we look at the top of our screen again, We don't have any errors. So now we're free to simulate this program. And at the bottom of the screen, very similar to the first one, we have a blinking run light, a blinking run status, which means it needs to hit play. So right now we can't do anything until we go up to the top of the screen, all the way up here, and you've got a start controller. It looks like a play button. We're going to start the controller, hit OK. And now that blinking run status down here went away. We're going to put the cover, so to speak, on our stop button. So if that were in the field, if it was wired, that would automatically come up green. We just forced it, is the language. Here, the next one we're going to hit is input 1, and that's our start. And you're going to see the path for current flow is maintained through the sealing circuit. Q0.0 is energized. That also closed the contact that's called the same, and energizing our second output, Q0.1. So that circuit is simulated and it's a happy program. It's working just fine. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to stop my controller. I'm going to go up to the top of the screen, stop the simulator. And last but not least, we want to commission the circuit or transfer the circuit. So what I need to do here is plug in my PLC, or my USB is plugged into the side of my computer, and I'm going to go to commission. I have this program already downloaded to the PLC. I want to show you what happens when you have that done. So when you already have the same program on the PLC, when you go to your M221 controller and log in, watch what happens. Last time we saw PC to controller download, and we clicked it. This time, you see nothing. Let's go back down. So we see PC to controller, PC to controller to PC, and stop controller. So right now we're going to transfer this program, PC to controller download. And right now our PLC looks pretty happy. I'm going to show you that in a minute. I'm going to go to program, and let's take a look at what's going on. So right now we see that our stop button is on, which is the cover is on. So if we come over here and look, that's this. If I yank it off, look what happened to our program down below. We lost the true state right there. So it's kind of good to know. So I'm going to put the cover back on right now. You're going to hear me snap it on. And the normally closed contact just came back to life. So I'm going to hit the start button. You'll hear me click the start button in the field. You saw how it momentarily closed, but then gave me my sealing circuit, energizing Q0.0, energizing the other open contacts, so we have a path for current flow to my second output, which is Q0.1, which is my green light. Interesting thing to note when we're looking at this program is we're seeing it work real life with the program itself, which is a good thing to have when you're troubleshooting in the field. You're able to see what's going on in real life. Pretty neat stuff, and something to take note of for the future when you're troubleshooting. The program on the computer will show you a lot of what's going on in the field. So hopefully you enjoyed that video, and we'll see you at the next one.